If you weren't looking closely at the way Simon's eyes tracked Trina Robinson the moment she stepped off that stage, you completely missed the real story unfolding right in front of us. Most viewers probably just saw a sophisticated music producer who was highly impressed by a talented young woman and her musical companion. But did you catch that lingering, almost haunted gaze? That was not just professional admiration, fan shows. That was the look of a man staring at a ghost from his past, or rather, a man who is a ghost himself. I paused and rewound that exact scene 3 times, and the subtle shift in his body language, the slight tension in his jaw when Kai Taylor stood near her, screamed volumes. We are not just looking at a random new character dropping into town to hand out recording contracts. We are looking at a meticulously crafted disguise, a ticking time bomb wrapped in a tailored suit, and a dark secret that is about to blow this entire canvas wide open. If you ask me, the sudden arrival of this mysterious Simon is far too convenient. In the world of soap operas, there is no such thing as a coincidence. A high-powered music executive does not just wander into the orbit of Trina Robinson and Giovanni Palmieri without a deeply rooted hidden agenda. The show is painting Simon as the ultimate career savior, the man who will elevate Trina to the stardom she deserves. But let us peel back the layers of this carefully constructed facade. I have a theory that is going to shake the very foundation of our beloved show, and it all revolves around a young man we were told was gone forever. I am talking about the tragic, presumed dead prince himself. I firmly believe that Simon is none other than Spencer Cassadine. Think back to that devastating day in Paris. Spencer and Esme Prince plunged into the freezing, turbulent waters of the Seine. It was a catastrophic fall, a moment that shattered Trina's heart and left the entire town of Port Charles in a state of endless mourning. But as we all know, especially those of us who have watched this legacy family operate for decades, if there is no body, there is no death. General Hospital never gave us absolute, undeniable proof that Spencer perished in those waters. They left the door cracked open, just a fraction, allowing the cold wind of possibility to blow through. So, let us set the first domino in motion. Imagine the immediate aftermath of that fall. The icy water, the desperate struggle for breath, the darkness closing in. My theory is that Spencer and Esme both survived, but they were separated by the unforgiving currents. Perhaps Spencer was pulled from the water miles downstream by a passing cargo boat or a group of local fishermen, completely isolated from whoever might have rescued Esme. As he lay shivering and fighting for his life on the deck of a stranger's boat, the brilliant, strategic Cassadine mind began to work. Spencer quickly realized a horrifying truth. If he survived, there was a very high probability that Esme Prince survived as well. This brings us to the second falling domino, which is the psychological torment that forced Spencer into hiding. If he returned to Port Charles, reclaimed his name, and ran back into Trina's arms, he would inadvertently paint a massive target on her back. Esme, in all her twisted obsession, would inevitably hunt him down, bringing her chaos and violence right to Trina's doorstep. To protect the woman he loved more than life itself, Spencer had to make the ultimate sacrifice. He had to stay dead. He had to sever every tie to his past, allowing Trina to grieve so that she could eventually live free from the vicious cycle of Esme's terror. He chose to erase Spencer Cassadine from existence, stepping into the shadows to forge a completely new identity. He became Simon. But how does a presumed dead young man with no access to his bank account suddenly build a lucrative, high-profile career as a music producer? This is where the third domino falls, revealing a massive manipulative scheme operating behind the scenes. Enter Nicholas Cassadine. Even sitting in a maximum security prison cell, a Cassadine is never truly powerless. Nicholas has always had access to offshore accounts, hidden wealth, and a network of loyal associates who operate entirely off the grid. I believe that shortly after his rescue, a desperate Spencer managed to get a secure message to his father. Nicholas, overjoyed that his heir was alive but understanding the grave danger posed by Esme, agreed to fund Spencer's new life. From the confines of his cell, Nicholas orchestrated the finances, providing the capital necessary for Spencer to study, travel, and reinvent himself as Simon, the rising star of the music industry. For months, or perhaps even longer, Spencer has been living this dual existence. He channeled all his grief, his longing for Trina, and his Cassadine ambition into the world of music production. He built a Simon persona from the ground up, creating a flawless background, a verifiable resume, and an untouchable reputation. He waited patiently in the wings, biding his time, ensuring that his cover was absolute and that Esme was nowhere to be found. But the heart wants what it wants, and the Cassadine men have never been known for their infinite patience when it comes to the women they obsess over. The fourth domino in this intricate chain reaction is the breaking point that brought him back to Port Charles. Spencer, operating as Simon, has undoubtedly been keeping close tabs on Trina from afar. He watched her mourn him, which must have torn his soul to shreds. But then he watched her begin to heal. He watched her smile again. And worst of all, he watched her move on with Kai Taylor. The moment Spencer saw Kai stepping into the space that rightfully belonged to him, the jealousy and the primal need to protect what is his became too much to bear. He could no longer stay away. He needed a Trojan horse to re-enter Trina's life without triggering her alarm bells, and his new persona as a music producer provided the perfect, undeniable excuse. Now that Simon is in Port Charles, we are about to witness the fifth domino fall, and the collateral damage will be devastating for Kai Taylor. Simon is going to position himself as the ultimate mentor and professional partner for Trina and Giovanni. He is going to monopolize Trina's time, scheduling late-night recording sessions, sudden business trips, and exclusive industry events. Kai is going to feel the distance growing between him and Trina, but he will not be able to pinpoint the exact cause. He will think he is losing his girlfriend to her burgeoning career, completely unaware that he is actually losing her to her presumed dead soulmate. Simon will orchestrate Kai's downfall with the surgical precision of a true Cassadine, subtly undermining Kai's confidence and pushing him to the absolute periphery of Trina's world. As Kai is slowly pushed out of the picture, the sixth domino will strike Trina's fragile psyche. Spending all this intimate, creative time with Simon is going to unravel her. Trina is incredibly intuitive. Even with a different hairstyle, a matured voice, and a completely different demeanor, there will be moments where Simon's mask slips. It might be the specific way he holds a coffee cup, a fleeting smirk when he thinks she isn't looking, or the familiar scent of a cologne that haunts her dream. Trina will find herself inexplicably drawn to this older, mysterious producer, feeling an intense, magnetic pull that defies all logic. She will feel guilty for developing feelings for Simon, not realizing that her heart is simply recognizing the man it never stopped loving. The emotional affair will be intoxicating and deeply confusing for her. However, this master plan has a fatal flaw, leading us to the seventh, most terrifying domino. By stepping into the spotlight to launch Trina's career, Simon is making himself visible. If he successfully turns Trina and Giovanni into household names, his own face will end up in industry magazines and online articles. And somewhere, perhaps halfway across the world, or perhaps lurking right in the shadows of Port Charles, Esme Prince will see a photograph of the brilliant new music producer, Simon. The unholy alliance of their shared survival will come full circle. Spencer's attempt to protect Trina by becoming Simon will be the very thing that leads Esme right back to them. The monster he tried to outrun will follow the trail of breadcrumbs he inadvertently left behind. When Esme inevitably returns, armed with the knowledge of Spencer's deception, the eighth domino will crash into the legacy family dynamic, causing an explosion of epic proportions. Imagine the sheer devastation when Laura Collins, who has shed countless tears over the loss of her beloved grandson, discovers that he has been alive this entire time. Imagine the fury of Sonny Corinthos, the betrayal felt by Jocelyn Jacks, and the absolute chaos that will consume the town. The revelation that Nicholas funded this massive lie from his prison cell will sever whatever fragile bonds remain within the Cassadine family. The fallout will be catastrophic, leaving relationships permanently shattered in its wake. But the most important question, the final domino that will determine the future of this entire storyline, rests squarely on Trina Robinson's shoulders. When the disguise is finally ripped away, when Simon looks her in the eye and confesses that he is Spencer Cassadine, how will she react? Will she be overcome with joyous relief that the love of her life has returned from the grave? Or will she be utterly destroyed by the magnitude of his deception? He allowed her to grieve, to break down, and to try and rebuild her life, all while he was watching from the shadows. That kind of manipulation, even if born out of a desperate desire to protect her, is a bitter pill to swallow. If you ask me, ladies, this is the exact kind of high-stakes, emotionally shattering drama that makes General Hospital the masterpiece it is. We are watching a slow-motion train wreck wrapped in a beautiful, romantic disguise. Simon is playing a dangerous game of chess, using Trina's career as the board and Kai Taylor as a disposable pawn. But in his arrogance, he has forgotten that he cannot control every variable. The truth always claws its way to the surface, and when it does, the destruction will be biblical. Will Trina's profound, enduring love for Spencer be enough to forgive the lie of a lifetime? Or has the ghost of Simon permanently destroyed the boy she once loved?